Alright guys, good morning. Back to the second video of running this month. And I think we're going to talk a little bit about increasing speed time overall when you're running. Because last time we were talking about how we first got to aim for the distance to accomplish whatever you're running. Whether it's a 5K or a 10K or, a full marathon, you have to have the distance. At least 80% of it by the time that you're close to the event. Of course, then you taper and you keep going like that. And again, it comes down to how you're programmed. And you need a coach for that. It's not easy to do unless you've been doing it for a while. But again, today, I want to mix it up again. And not just about talking about speed today and all the other fun stuff, but let's also talk about that knee pain that I was talking about the last video, maybe some ankle pain that you might be getting, even some hip pain. And the first thing that we have to look at is how you move. How you move is very important. Then we'll talk about speed in a little bit. Another two tests that I'm going to show you today, I'm not going to get into massive amount of details, but it's your inline lunge and your rotatory. I'll explain that one in a second. But you got so many different movements and people analyze all these things differently. But very simple. Let's do the movement screening on the inline lunge. So what I want to do is I already pre-measured my distance that I have to go at. I'll put one foot at a certain line, and the other foot at the certain line that I measured at. You notice I'm going to be in one plane, complete sagittal plane. Right. Opposite hand, right down the spine. Now all we're going to do is a straight lunge. Okay? Boom. And back up. Easy, right? Of course, we got to do the other side. And you're wondering, what the hell are we trying to monitor here? Well, one, I get to tell you how your proprioception is. Meaning, how can your body tell where it's supposed to be at? Your brain to your foot, whether it's good proprioception, meaning that you have good balance, right? You're not cheating. You're not losing balance to the side. You're not throwing your hips forward. If you did throw your hips forward, that's all hip tension that you got going on. That could lead to injuries. If you have a tendency to sway back, it means your center of gravity is all the way back here. Guess what you're doing? You're hyper flexing the back, which is not a good thing, right? Especially if you're running like this. That's just ridiculous. You lose so much energy like that. Then lastly, if I were to do a lunge again, and I swayed kind of like this, I opened up, well, guess what? All this right here is overcompensating. You're not really using your VMO again. So you add that to the last test, and you start narrowing down what's happening. Now, on the next one, we have a simple, kind of like an RDL to rotation. I learned it long back, many years ago. But you're simply just going to try and reach for the opposite end of your toe. Now, it looks simple, but when you look at it, what are my hamstrings doing? They're tightening up. And is my other leg rotating out? Now this tightness right here, the flexion, means that my hamstrings are way overcompensated. Two, look at my lowest back. I'm overcompensating with my erector spinae losing force. Same thing, if my opposite leg were to rotate, well, guess what's tight? All these external muscles, the lateral externals. Well, in English, glutes, IT band, TFL, all those muscles are tight. And that would be added into the rest of the testing. And we keep narrowing it down one by one. Another one from this RDL rotation is, again, you can look at the person's spine. Let's see if you can see it from here. You see how much they're rotating. And they're not rotating sufficiently, there's something going on in the core. If they're arching in, there's something going on in the core. You want to have a nice plane where it's all straight, not really tight, and still able to move. And there's a lot more details, but I'm not going to get into all those details because it's way over too complicated and it's way too damn early. Yeah. Once you start adding more movements and you start analyzing more movements, you can start narrowing down what's wrong. When you start narrowing down what's wrong, you get to find out where the pain is coming from. You start working out a program not only for your training, but also for that pain relief. Yes, you could do both of them at the same time. It's not that hard. It's just that you need a really good person to program for you. Now, the speed, and this is what everybody wants to listen. How can I get faster when I run a marathon? Well, you have different types of training models. First, you got to get that distance. Second, you could do fartlek, speed play in English. You could do intervals, not just fartlek, but intervals, basic intervals. It could be speed intervals. It would be different ratios. If you're looking for longer endurance, you could go into a 3-1 ratio, meaning 3 minutes of a longer, higher pace, 1 minute of a slower pace. If you're trying to shorten your rest periods, your recovery periods, well, you do a 1 to 30 second interval. And you can mix and match and play all you want, meaning you could do 2 minutes to 1, you could do 1 minute to 15 seconds, you could keep going. Now, this is great, especially not just for running, but other sports. Kind of like, I don't know, boxing, 3 minute high endurance, and then a 1 minute break? Less than that. It's about 30 seconds of a break. So imagine, if they can endure that, then they could get better. How about baseball? One play, pitch hits a ball. Boom. You got 1 minute to actually do the play. Okay? Then what? You have a 3 minute rest period, almost, for the next bat. So it's interesting. It can be very dictated by the sport. Or at least in running, you want to make sure that A, you find what your goal is, whether it's to recover faster or lessen your walking time. Excuse me. And 2, whether you're running properly or you're running dysfunctionally. And I know you guys know what running dysfunctionally is, especially you full-time marathon runners. When you start getting to the last miles, you have this nice stride, and all of a sudden you start doing this. That's going to end up hurting you in the end. You don't want that. Now, if you want us to program for you, I've done it. I'm a clinical exercise specialist. So I work with people with atrial fibrillation in running. It's a little bit more of a specialty. We have other instructors. We have running coaches. You're always welcome to let us know, and we'll be happy to connect you with them. And lastly, of course, we're here to help you. Doesn't matter who you are. Remember, performance is limitless. You just have to put the bar higher each time. And stay tuned for next time. We might have some surprises soon. I'm going to start a online course, and Udemy, right? I think that's the name of the website, but it's all physiology. If you're interested in learning about physiology, a collegiate course itself, stay tuned. I'll let you know when I put up the first PowerPoints, but it's about half an hour to an hour long. And it's a full exercise physiology course starting from the basics all the way up to the end, at least to my knowledge. And eventually I'll have to keep regurgitating new knowledge. Stay tuned, stay in touch, write some comments, let us help you, and I'll see you later.